Hey everybody, welcome to Pod Mavericks Mavs Party. I'm Kirk Henderson. I'm editor-in-chief over at MavsMoneyball.com. If you are joining me after Josh Bowe and I's show, thank you so much for hanging around. If you're listening on the podcast stream the next day, this is our semi-regular live show, hopefully more regular once I get back to any sort of reasonable schedule. Might not be until like March, for being honest. Dallas Mavericks played the Memphis Grizzlies tonight in what was a very fun game. It's nice when the Mavericks win these things, these games they're supposed to win. I know some people find them boring, but not me. So for those of you who, don't know what's going on here, I want you to click on the StreamYard link in the comments and consider coming up and hanging out with me here. We already got one gentleman waiting, our man Brian. And then, basically how the show operates is I bring folks up one at a time until I run out of time or we run out of people who want to talk about stuff. I have a hard out at about 11:30. I have to go feed the 5-week-old baby who gets pissy when I don't feed him on time. So that's the way things go. All right, coming up first is my man Brian. What's up, man? How you doing?
Feeling great, man. Just watched a nice, fun game. A lot of good contributors. It was a good time.
Yeah, I liked it. It's nice to see the team perform in a game where they should win. Winning is pretty important, obviously, but then doing so in a way where, obviously Memphis is going to make runs, but it was a pleasing game because the Mavericks more or less did everything that they were supposed to, given kind of the limited options that they had at their disposal with so many guys on the injury report.
Yeah, missing 5 rotation players and then Derrick Jones Jr. having an awesome start to the game and then going out in the first quarter, that hurt. But for the third game in a row, man, they played bums and they treated those bums like bums.
That's nice.
It was really refreshing, man. Haven't seen it in a while.
Do we think that Derrick Jones Jr. is okay? I didn't see the injury. I was still doing. Do we think he's all right and just will probably play more tomorrow night against the Lakers?
He is fine. He may be questionable for tomorrow because I saw it at first. I thought maybe he banged knees with somebody. It turns out he took a knee from Jaren Jackson into his quad, and so they're calling it a quad contusion. So it depends how he feels tomorrow. He might try and tough it out and go, but honestly,
I bet he plays. I mean, it's like
if Luka plays, he plays. I feel
yeah, I mean, I remember Bones. If you're listening to this, I'm sorry I'm sharing this story. The current head coach at Frisco Centennial, his name's Justin Kaufman. He was a year older than me, and he got dead-legged so bad by one of our teammates in practice in high school, he had to miss a game. Like, they would just dead-leg each other on purpose, and he got hit in the high school guys are dumb. And got hurt. One of our other buddies kneed him so hard in the quad, just fucking with him, that he had to miss a game. Because it's like when you get hit, because Luka's a tank, but those soft tissue injuries, they don't heal. They just kind of linger, particularly when you play game after game after game. So I think you're probably right. I bet he probably plays, particularly if Luka's going to play. But maybe we'll see a little bit less high flying action. Frankly, we just need the bodies. That's really what my concern is against the Lakers.
Yeah, especially against the Lakers. That bench isn't particularly good or deep, but what they are athletic and really long, and they'll run you out of the building if you let them run. So as long as we've got the guys who are able to be in there and just do their job consistently for most of the game, then we should be fine to let, Luka, maybe Kyrie if he plays as well, but definitely Luka try and bring us towards the end of the game. But, man, Did you see Derek Lively out there?
It's we got my brain wants to go like that's our boy, but that's not a boy. That's a man
Grown
doing man shit.
grown ass man. And yeah, Jaren Jackson had his little empty 41 or whatever. I feel like such a dickhead poo-pooing 41 points, but I'm sorry. I watched that game. In the first half, he was cooking. He was like actually a problem. Second half, that shit didn't matter. When it was actually time, like for him to try and take Derek Lively one-on-one and Derek sat in that chair, it was a wrap. He wasn't getting what he wanted.
Yep.
And it was just, a David Roddy offensive rebound here or there, or a Santi Aldama bullshit corner three or whatever.
Santi Aldama is good. I
he and Roddy are the Maverick killers on that team.
I sort of think that
I like those guys.
I used to love Jaren Jackson Jr., but his World Cup game really turned me off. I mean, 41 points and 4 rebounds tonight. I
can't get with a guy that tall that can't rebound.
Just it's so maddening, but it's watching Lively do what he does, watching him fight for boards without getting called for fouls, watching him set we don't talk about this enough. He's figured out how to set a screen.
Screening is so going to be.
I thought that was just going to be the thing we bitched about all year. And
dude, we thought he was going to be not Dwight Powell. We thought he was going to be like Kevon Looney, getting called for an offensive foul every game.
And he still does every now and again, but it's not like a thing that's holding him back. That's what I think we were all worried about, right?
No, it's actually one of his strengths because he's learned really early on how to time his slips off of that.
Yep.
And Luke is just looking for him every time down now.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, Jaden Hardy, welcome to the NBA season.
Good. He needed that.
God, man. I was so glad to see him just make shots again. I was like, wow, I remember that guy.
The Josh Green being hurt and to a certain extent even Tim Hardaway being hurt, and definitely Kyrie being hurt kind of gives it really exposes log jam is not the right word because it's not a log jam. There's clear talent tiers, but the fact that it took this many guys getting hurt for them to try Exum in this role is really something. And then Hardy looks better when he's not playing with Josh. He's looked better with another veteran guard on the floor with him. And that is just, it's interesting to me. I still don't know what to make of Hardy. I think I'm a little too hard on him for a second round pick. But when the three's going down, his shot is so pretty. And that makes everything else a lot more palatable because I think defenses realize they have to guard him if one goes down.
It's just a matter of, because I've been throwing Jaden Hardy into I was on here rambling a couple weeks ago about it, about how I've been throwing Jaden Hardy in all types of trade packages in the trade machine or whatever. But what it comes down to is he was kind of like a volume scorer, just without really any of the volume score tools that he needed or the opportunity to even really play that role off of the bench. And when he's allowed to come in and just be an off-ball scorer, you catch the ball, you shoot, you catch the ball, you attack. If you don't have anything at the rim, you kick and you relocate and get open again from the wing. And he did that all game today, and he was so successful. And he was really, really good with his decision making. He started short circuit a little bit in the second half, but it was because he was spending a little too much time on ball. But when it was just catch and go, don't think, he was amazing. He looked just like he did in the Memphis game last year. And that's
all I needed to see. I don't want him to have to make more than one or two decisions in a given set. His choice needs to be drive immediately, shoot immediately. There's no reading the defense. And granted that he's capable of making a decent pass. Capable, not always.
Yeah, he can make simple reads, and that's all we need. He's in the temp zone. If you take more than 2 dribbles, that possession is not quite lost, but it's pretty close. We're wondering, okay, what are you doing if you got the ball this long? And now he knows that. So
it's really something. It's really something.
Max threes too.
When he shot that first one, I immediately got on Twitter and I was searching. I looked up the word under the GIF section. I looked up trebuchet because his shot, when it goes off, it's just it's going in that general direction, but you don't really know where it's going. So it's like in that first one, missed so badly. I was like, this isn't good. This
Yeah,
is
when
not good.
he misses by half a foot, and it's real ugly. But
Yeah,
the fact that he came right back like a possession or two later,
loved it.
and Luca had faith in him to take the shot because he made the pass to him when there was another guy standing in that corner. He made the pass to Omax. Omax took that shot with confidence and made it. And from there on, I was like, because he had already had one of those, drives from the corner, uh, jump stop, pump fake, get a bucket that way in the paint. He'd already had one of those, and from there, I was like, okay, he's going to be able to stay on the court because he's able to contribute offensively in this game. That's not going to be every game, but when he can, he's going to be super valuable. And a year from now, like going into next season, what this could look like if he's still on the team, knock on wood, him and Lively together, man. Oh, Nico's so good, man. Shout out to
I'm just
Nico.
pleased. Well, I'm pleased it's working. It's nice. Well, hey, you can probably see some other folks in here. You got anything else for us?
Nah, man, I'm happy we got the win, stacking these dubs. Let's keep it up.
Well, I'll be back tomorrow night, assuming life doesn't go to hell in a handbasket, which I can never really promise with having a little kid, but we'll see. So thanks for getting us started tonight, Brian.
Of course, dude. Thanks for having me.
All right. I see some of our regulars down in the chat, and then Mike. I'm going to bring Mike up next because Mike's not here every time. Mike, welcome to the show. What's up?
Hey, Kirk. How you doing?
I'm good. It's daytime where you are. That's how cool the internet is. So did you get to watch this game this morning for you?
I did. Yes, it is morning still. Oh, it's just ticked over the afternoon, I think. But I did get a chance to watch most of it. Pretty good to see, next man up mentality and a wire-to-wire win. And just some of the young guys really showing that sort of potential and my fellow Aussie Exum, continuing just to show that he deserves more minutes and time out there on the court with.
How good was he?
I was watching him all summer. I watched him locally here and then in the World Cup, but. I thought he was probably a more consistent performer than Josh Green throughout that as well, and he's just a steady hand. Like makes the right passes, a couple of really nice little dishes off to easy baskets, and even that little cut under the basket and reverse layup was just showing the growth, and he's got that confidence now, and he's pretty happy with where it's all at. So signs are positive for a game that we should have won, and that we, were able to just, even though we're plenty of men down, just able to get the win and keep them at bay. Like every time they made a run, we're able to just do enough just to keep them at bay.
Right, and that didn't happen last year. Every time a team made a run last year, it was like, oh no, how close is this going to get before we die?
Exactly, and it was extremely frustrating last year, and I think that PTSD still kicks in this year every time they start making a march back. But they seem to just be able to keep enough of a gap and get the win. So that's the important part, and slowly that anxiety level is lifting. So loved what I saw from Omax and even Keith. I don't really rate him, but he was able to come through with some pretty good, just bodying up, getting physical with Triple J, and even though he scored, big point, like 40 something points, it was just good to see a bit of physicality and get in his face and just keep enough of that buffer in there for us to get the W.
Yeah, I was very pleased to see it. Just to circle back to Exum, he has 20 assists the last 3 games.
20 assists, wow. Yeah, no, he's got that potential. And, I haven't seen the turnover numbers, but no, he makes the right decisions as well. And I just really like what he does with the ball. So, some of those passes were tough, but he generally makes the right read.
It's just nice having another guy out there that you feel confident that will make the right choice more often than not.
Yeah, correct. So, hopefully we get a few guys back, especially coming into a couple of harder games. The schedule's getting pretty tough from here on out. So, stacking the wins now is a good thing.
That's right. Mike, thanks so much for joining us. You got anything else?
No problems, Kurt. No, I think that's it. Just go Mavs, and hopefully we can get some healthy bodies back and keep those wins stacking up.
Hope so too, man. All right, talk soon.
All right, take it easy. See ya.
Yes, love the internet. Coming up next, we're gonna go Micah, and then Krishna will close us out. Micah, what's up, my man?
What's going on, Kirk?
Well, just,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sounded a little bit of a time delay, but we can make it work. So how are we doing?
I'm doing good. Kirk, let me say something off topic real quick. I'm admittedly a two-team NFL fan, and I watched the Cowboys and I watched the Chiefs. The general management of the Chiefs should be ashamed of themselves. That is the worst receiving core by far in the league.
It hurts me, man. But at the same time, like at least what that guy did last night was so clearly illegal that I wasn't like mad about it. Like there was no open to interpretation. It was just like he's being a dummy and was standing like a solid 1.5 feet over the line of scrimmage.
Over the line. Four of their 5 losses account for drops and penalties by receivers. It's terrible. It's like
but I see.
I watch the Cowboys, and I don't think one of those 3 guys would get snaps on the Cowboys receiving room. Like,
man,
honestly, I don't.
Man, it is tough. It is tough. But my theory of sports goes like this: with guys like Patrick Mahomes, when bullshit goes their way or goes against them, at a certain point in time, things start to break in like an almost unfair way for them. So like, let's say the Chiefs enter the NFL playoffs as like the 4 seed. I wouldn't be surprised if they make the Super Bowl anyways, just because they could go on some magical tear, you know?
True. I get that.
Tell me about this basketball game. What'd you think tonight?
Man, all I'm gonna say is this 19-year-old rookie. When are we gonna respect this guy for our all-rookie team? Like, who outside of 2 rookies is honestly playing better than him right now?
Wemby's going to win Rookie of the Year just kind of by default because that's the way these things work.
Right.
If rookie, it really depends on if rookie team is positionless, in my opinion, and I think it is. It would be really funny if like him, Chet, and Wemby were all on the rookie first team. I really don't see. When you go like through the rookie ladders, it's going to be really hard for teams for kind of pundits to ignore Lively's presence, particularly if the Mavs keep playing, 55, if they win 55% of their games. That's going to be hard to do because the Spurs have lost so many games in a row. The Thunder are a significantly more stacked team. There's just like the Lively conversation will happen the longer the Mavericks keep this up.
Right. It's just like I'm just saying. I started watching the NBA in '91.
Mm-hmm.
This is not normal. This is not normal for a 19-year-old kid to be doing what he's doing. Like, at the end, the man put up 16 and 16, 89% from the floor on the DPOY's head. That happened. So
I get it.
Shout out to Nico. He smashed on that bargain bin, didn't he?
Sure. This had to pay off at some point. The Mavs have had so many like low level signings not work out during the Luka years that they were kind of owed. Where who was the guy that really cooked for us in the bubble? 76er. Trey Burke, where it's just like Trey Burke was a great value signing for that moment, but the fact that they thought that they should keep him for a series of years is the kind of Donnie decision making that gets them in this hole. You try for Frank Ntilikina. It's a lapsed lottery guy. I think it's a good gamble, but then you keep him again when he was good against Booker in the playoffs, but I don't understand why they kept him for that second year. With these back end contracts, you simply got to cycle guys through until you find someone who hits. I mean, that's what makes the Exum thing so interesting is I'm pretty sure they got him not just 1 year, but they have a right to a second year for him, which is huge. And I could be wrong about that, but I really don't think I am.
Yeah,
And,
no, he's signed for 2 years.
I don't think Derek Jones is signed for 2 years, but it's
no, Derek Jones is signed for 1.
Mhm.
Exum got basically the same kind of contract that Seth Curry got, if I'm not mistaken.
And Seth's another good example where it's just like, if you don't need to hit on all these guys, but you need to hit on at least one to round out your rotation. And that's what's been helpful, because it's like, again, they won tonight with having so many rotation guys out. It's good. It's great.
It's different how they run offense. It's like having multiple guys that can touch the ball. And look, the dude can get mad as he wants and fight back at people on Twitter. I don't care. The amount of power that Harrell Bob had on the way that the roster and the offense was run is what got us to where we played with for 3-4 years, to where nobody could do nothing but spot up shoot. Nobody could pass,
and no.
Nobody could dribble.
Yes and no. I mean, I know, like I've mentioned this before, they had an agreement in principle, nothing signed, but they had an agreement with Alex Caruso in 2019 that Cuban then went another direction with. Like they had 4 decision makers on that team, if you include Carlisle. And so that's what makes the fact that they've really tightened up their decision-making tree to where it's no longer like, I get collaborative stuff. I'm a collaborative manager over at Mavs Moneyball, but at the end of the day, you need to have one person responsible for making the decision. And the thing that drove me nuts about the Cuban of it all is Cuban would distance himself from things that didn't work and then take credit for things that did. And and I don't like that style of management, frankly. He's done it. You've heard him on podcasts as of late where he's like, well, JJ Barea was me. I'm the one who drafted JJ Barea. Well, what about all the garbage picks that happened from 1999 to 2011, where they made some really horrendous picks in between there? That's just the way it goes. So it's like the fact that
like having one credible center in 20 years and we only had him for 2 seasons.
Well, that's where like the Nico of it all, it's like very clear that he's making these choices because Jason Kidd did not want Christian Wood. And they made that deal anyways to get out from under those other contracts. That's a Nico choice. I really believe that. And so it's like, if there's the fact that there's one point, not like a single point of failure, but like a single point of responsibility makes you feel a lot better for where they're going. And then, a 17 in the chat notes that Dennis Lindsay is also in that chain of command. And that's been, I think, really, really important for the success the Mavericks have had.
A couple of things. Him being there, and that probably played a part in the Exum decision. And not only that, having Alex Jensen as well, that maybe he already has experience with him, chemistry with him from beforehand. And then also his you can't underscore how he played a part in developing Rudy Gobert. It's just like, if Lively becomes that's an advanced version of that, cooking with grease.
I mean, shit. If he's 80% of that, we're in great place because it's everybody that's feeling bullish has a reason to. Even if the Mavericks get absolutely whopped the next couple of days against both the Wolves and the Lakers.
Well, you said it in the chat, and I don't care about sounding like an asshole. AD just had 40 and 20. 10 and 5 is coming.
Well, I mean, the Pacers were a perfect team for him to get 40 and 20 against because they, like, once Miles Turner got into that ticky-tack foul trouble shit, it was going to be one of those games. Like, it was that game that nobody talks about this, and I'm a hater, but I thought that game was horrendously reffed. There was like 75 fouls called, and it just threw the whole flow of the game off. It was awful. It was an awful game.
It's gross. We're gonna deal with things that's just like there's a lot of politics and how they want to present a product, and we've seen over a long period of time they don't care if it looks gross to get the product that they want to present.
Yep. Well, what else you got for us, my man? Because I have to go here in 7 minutes.
That's about all I got.
Well, thanks so much for.
That energy is real. So,
I like it.
Keep it going, Kirk.
All right, talk soon, man. Maybe tomorrow.
All right.
All right. Krishna, close us out here, man. What are you thinking tonight?
Kirk, how are you?
I'm good.
I'm doing good. It's been a while. We haven't talked since OKC game, right? I feel
No,
like.
because I've not. I just haven't had the juice.
Not blaming you. I get it. I'm shocked you're even doing this. I'll be honest.
Yeah, when these are earlier ones, it's fine. My wife and I were talking before the game. Like, she knows I need to do these, but it's also like there needs to be the appetite. 'Cause like you guys see the numbers here, where it's fine. We're all friends. And when I was doing the green rooms, we were getting 150 people hanging out, and the barrier for entry to this is just higher.
Mhm.
And I don't know how. There's some games where we have had 100+ people in here, and I don't know really how to get that back.
I think probably like more interest, the playoffs, other sports kind of
Yeah.
thing. I think those things will help. And it takes time, right? Like it's so weird, but like 82 games is a long time.
Yes.
It's why baseball is somewhat brutal and not brutal. It's like it is 162 games, but you're also playing like 4 games in a row. And then like you get 1 day off. So it's a little different. But all that said, I felt like after the OKC game, the thing I talked about was I was glad the team put in effort. You could see that they were just tired. And it felt like the 3 things that had been there these 3 games is effort. Even if, Portland and the Grizzlies, they pushed back and they kept, they kept trying to get into the game, which as they should. It felt like the Mavericks just had effort. Even if there was sloppy play, like I'm not going to sit here and say the play was perfect and it was immaculate. I think the Utah game was more like that. It just felt like they had control over the game completely. In Portland and in Memphis, you can see that a lot of these guys just don't have the reps yet. They're not completely there yet. And that's what happens with youth and inexperience. But what you did see was effort, something that I felt like, you've talked about it. It's the only thing you can control ultimately.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that there was effort, there was guys going after rebounds and, 20, I think we had 21 second chance points at a point, and they had like 8. I don't remember if it ended like that, but that's something you don't see. And we out rebounded them. And yes, I also think part of it is Triple J is just he's not a rebounder. I don't know. He's more likely a 4 than a 5, if you ask me, honestly, but it helps, right? You need to get these wins. And especially when you have so many injuries at this point, and it's just a win, right? You just need to get these wins. It's good to get these wins against lower ranked teams. I mean, like you've talked about it all season, you need to win against bottom 500 teams, and you need to just be above average, if not average, against 500 and above teams. And it's good to see this team, even with the injuries, they're not making excuses. They're just going out and winning. And I don't think we said that at all last season, which is the positive.
Yeah. No, we're stressed after just about every kind of game last year, whereas just coming out tonight against Memphis, a team they should have won, and then they did so in a way that made you feel confident, not only with the limited resources that they had, but the way those players executed within their roles. It was nice.
Yeah, I mean, we missed a ton of threes. Like we were even in Portland, like the sneaky thing about both these games is we've not made the 3 ball well at all. We have not been shooting it well. Yet they found another way to score. They found another way to defend. Like, yes, these are not good teams, but you still have to defend. You still have to score, and you have to do these things ultimately, right? We can talk about the level of competition, and that's real, and that's a valid point. But you still have to do them, and you have to practice them on some level. And so it's a good thing to get these out. I think tomorrow is – I think everyone's kind of chalked up tomorrow to a loss, but I want to see at least effort, right? That's always what every fan kind of wants to see is you want to see – guys go out there and give effort. And even if, like, I give, for example, AJ Lawson, like, you can see why he's still a G League level player. His shot is not there. The consistency with his shot is not there. But you saw him go out on the fast break a few times, make a few pretty, like, energizing dunks that kind of, like, shush the crowd down, which helps. And that's kind of what you need from these guys. And you guys are speaking about all rookie team. I think it's been positionless for a long time. So,
yeah, I mean, I honestly just don't remember because the Mavericks never have rookies.
Yeah, Luka. I think Luka's the last person to make all rookie team. So
no, Dennis Smith Jr. I think was second team.
Yeah, but Luka would have made it after him, right? So Luka would have been the last rookie we ever had to make all rookie team.
Yeah.
So it's been a long, long time. But I get it. It's an interesting conversation. But I think I think no matter what the national conversation is about Lively, I don't think there will really ever be one until the Mavs are like in the playoffs or something. Just because I think there's already this preconceived notion of the Mavericks, rightfully or wrongfully. That's just what it is. But to me, I feel really happy because I know so much of the conversation I've talked about it before was about getting a starting center. And I don't think any of that conversation was wrong, but it's made me happy to see that he's just kind of, he talked about it so much in the offseason that he just wants to fill in the role and do what he needs to do. And the fact that he's done that, but also kind of moved the needle in the sense you've seen some of the passing stuff that he displayed a little bit in college and a lot more in high school, that his offensive game is way more developed than I think most bigs are at this stage. Like the thing is, we talk about Rudy Gobert, but the one thing that has always held Rudy Gobert back, I think, from being an elite center is his offensive game. Like
It's like frying pans for hands. The man can't catch the basketball.
He's better now. Like he's a good dunker. Like he's okay around the rim, but there was a play today. Lively, I don't remember if he got blocked or he missed a shot, but he gets his rebound and he just does a nice little hook, and it goes in. Like this kind of stuff is.
It's never happened to a Mavericks big man in my life.
No, and
like Chris Kaman, maybe.
And at that point, Kaman was 2013, right?
Right.
I remember that season. But all this stuff is it's positive because if this is your floor, like this is the baseline we've seen, and it's still pretty good. Yeah. And I imagine that his best attribute and best skill that I feel like has been there so far is just learning and improving. And I think that is something that's, I don't want to say underrated, but it's something we easily misforgive. Like we always look at the measurables and the like I always think about everyone was like this guy averaged 5 and 5 in college, and it's like what is he going to do? And it's like it's part of it is situation, and part of it is how willing is that player to learn. And it's been positive that he is. And Omax kind of had a few bright spots tonight. Like young players are never going to always be 100%, and I think developmental curves are so different. And I'm interested in this stuff because I follow so many sports, and so for me, it's positive that we're seeing the young guys, even if they're not consistently performing. They're at least trying to improve, and the team is, maybe not 100% trust, but it's been good. And I don't really have too many complaints. I mean, the injuries are killing us, but right. I think I'd rather have injuries now this earlier in the season than we're getting later on in the season. We need to win games more urgently, and we're just dying. Like we just don't have anyone to put out there. So yeah, I won't take too much more of your time, Kirk, but hope everyone takes care. Like the stream, like Kirk said, please share, and take care. Have a good night.
You too, buddy. Okay, so Mavericks play the Lakers tomorrow. Have probably 2 more shows tomorrow because the Lakers game starts at 6:30 local time. They're the TNT game, but they're the early game. So expect the lower bowl of the Mavericks arena to be absolutely empty. If I didn't have as much going on, I'd probably try to sneak in away and find to get tickets just because that's going to be one of those. I think that the ticket prices are high, but I mean, people can't get downtown until 6:30. We'll probably have a slightly earlier podcast, slightly earlier live feed. Everybody, thanks so much for hanging out. Head over to MavsMoneyball.com and check out the writing we have going, and we will talk with you soon. Go Mavs.